All right, we're on the mic for the Accidental Entrepreneur. I have Dr. Bill Dorfman on with me live from LA, you said, Dr. Bill?
LA.
LA, okay. Hopefully it's nice here actually in New Jersey, but I'm sure it's nicer weather out there. So I told you, you're probably the most famous person I've had on the podcast so far, and I appreciate you coming on. And I'm interested to hear all your stories. And Todd told me all kinds of things about you, and I have seen you on TV. I think I saw one of the Extreme Makeover episodes because they had, somebody had some dental problems in that episode. So maybe we could go back though. You could tell me a little bit about, your upbringing, your education, and how you got into dentistry. And I'm sure you didn't start out one day, you're dentist to the stars, right? You got to get started at some point. So maybe you could tell us that story.
All right. Start from where?
Well, not when you were born in a log cabin, but maybe back, like where'd you go to school? I don't know if you went to UCLA. I know you're involved with UCLA, or you grew up in California, born and raised?
Born and raised in California. I am a UCLA Bruin. Nice. I went to dental school at University of the Pacific School of Dentistry. Okay. It's now called Degoni School of Dentistry. Okay. After dental school, I decided to do a 2-year residency program in Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
Why
a dental residency, right?
Sorry?
A dental residency?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why Switzerland? Well, I did some research, and it was the only clinic in the world that wasn't in a third world country where you could actually go with a foreign license and work in a hospital.
That wasn't in the United States. You wanted to go somewhere else?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, look, I grew up poor. I had never traveled. I never even was on an airplane, pretty much. Okay. I was 24. Yeah. I graduated dental school. I'm like, do I really want to be tethered to a practice for the next 30, 40, 50 years without having seen the world? So I decided to look into this. And the problem is there was only one position and 400 applicants.
Ooh.
And there wasn't a really compelling reason why they should take me over as the new resident.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I run a program called LEAP. It's a motivational leadership program for high school and college kids. And one of the things I really get students to try and embrace is the fact that successful people will do things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do.
I say that all the time. I think that was in a speech like 100 years ago, because it's so true. The things that you do to be successful, it's not like other people can't do them. Yeah.
I started writing or having all of the professors in my dental school write me these glowing letters of recommendation. And they were awesome. And you know how I know they were awesome, Mitch? I wrote them all.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
That's what you do.
I asked them to write me a letter. They rolled their eyes like, oh gosh, I have to do another one of these. And then I said, look, I'll write it, just personalize it, which they did.
Perfect.
After about 20 letters, I realized I probably wasn't going to get the job.
Well, they probably had no recommendations, or 2 or 1 from most people, right?
But I never even got a return phone call or acknowledgement that they got these.
Okay.
So step 2, I started calling the director. Now, I don't know if you know, but in 1983, it was not easy to make a long distance phone call.
No, I was in high school. We had friends in Israel. You'd have to wait like 2 weeks for them, the operator, to call you back and say,
it was a pain in the neck, And so I started calling the guy, and I would do it like every week. And I realized I'm still not going to get the job, right? So then
you were how old, Dr. Bell? What, you're 24, you said?
I'm 24.
Okay. And obviously relentless. So
they say that, there will be life-defining moments. Sometimes you plan them, sometimes you don't. This was one I don't even know where this came from. I heard somebody say the best way to get advice from a mentor is to take them to lunch.
Yeah, that's true. I've been told that too.
This guy on the phone,
and
I said, "Hey, can I take you to lunch?" He's like, "You're in San Francisco. I'm in Switzerland." I'm like, "No problem. I'll fly there." Like, I was broke, broke.
Right.
And I'm like, "No, I'll come," which was a joke. But I figured, I'll find a way. He said yes. I borrowed money.
Oh, he did say yes.
Out there, and I got the job.
See, because you didn't take no for an answer.
Absolutely, and it was a great experience. I mean, I learned how to perfect the craft of dentistry a lot more. I made great friends. I learned how to ski. Et je parle français maintenant. Avant je peux pas. Rien du tout. Nice. And I'm completely fluent in French.
Nice.
So it was a great experience for me.
Now, did you always, going back a little bit, did you always want to be a dentist? I mean, you said you grew up a poor kid, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, what happened was when I was about 3, I fell and I knocked out my baby teeth. And I had multiple visits at the dentist over and over and over again. And at one point I thought, I want to do this for people. This is really great. So
So it caused, what did it, because I had the same problem when I was like 11. I had a fishing reel fall out of a cabin roof, hit me in the mouth. I still have one of my teeth is fake, and it knocked it out of my mouth. So for the next, whatever, as I was growing, it would get knocked out, or I would grow out, they'd have to fix it, but it didn't make me want to be a dentist. I spent a lot of time in the dental chair with that, dam in my mouth, the rubber thing,
right,
all the tools and sucking things. Oh, it was not a good experience, but I've learned to live with it.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being great. And, and it made it kind of easy for me because I went through life with this path, like when a lot of kids are struggling as to like what classes to take, I'm like, okay, well, what does a dentist take? And then I just took them.
That's good. So did you learn, you think, more things in Switzerland that they were doing over there that they weren't really doing here, or not necessarily?
Oh God, no.
It's the opposite.
Gave me an opportunity to practice and build up speed. So you had a crown done on your front tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, right now, if you came to my office, Mitch, and you needed a crown, it would probably take me 6 minutes of drilling, 5 minutes of impressions, and another 5 minutes I could finish the whole thing in like 30 minutes.
Right.
When you're in dental school, that's a 4-hour visit.
Well, when I was young, I'd be 6 visits. I'd be back and forth. I'd have to send it out to the lab.
But when you're learning, you're so slow. So I got to leave dental school and go work in a clinic where I was busy, just doing dentistry. And I mean, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, well, immersion does that, right? So whatever you're practicing, if you can do it that many times, you're just going to get good at things. So you came back to the States. By the way, my daughter, who's going to Maryland next year, was dying to go to California. She applied to UCLA, applied to USC, but being out of state with what's going on in the world right now, I think they had 160,000 applications at UCLA.
Oh, it's nuts.
Nuts.
Just out of curiosity, can you hear all the drilling they're doing at my place?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, somebody's building upstairs. Okay.
I can't hear anything.
You can edit that. Hold on 1 second, because my guys just came. Patrick. Okay. Patrick? Oh, he's in the restaurant. Hi. Do you know what's wrong with this thing?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. All right. If you need me for something, hey, I can pause. I'm doing this podcast for like the next 45 minutes. But if you really need me, just go like this and I'll tell them I need to pause for a second.
So far what I can see is that power supplies are not on at all. There are no lights or nothing.
Yeah, why? Okay, you'll figure it out.
But if you recall, that company's signals, AV is the one who's installed. I just programmed it. But I have a dealer of that brand, so hopefully it can help.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm back.
That's okay. What were we talking about? Oh, no, we were talking about being in California. So you came back because we were talking about how crazy it is to get into college at UCLA if you're out of state. So you came back. So you were there, you said, a couple of years?
So I was there for 2 years. I came back, and then I did another thing that we teach at Lee. It's called Copy Genius. The last thing that Century City, which is essentially Beverly Hills, needed was another cosmetic dentist, right?
Right.
So what I did was I went and I researched and found the 5 most successful cosmetic dentists in the area. I called them up and I said, can I come shadow you? I'd like to come into your practice and watch you work and, really learn from the best. And what I did was I took all that information and I put it into my practice. And within 2 years, I had a busier dental practice than all those guys.
Yeah, well, I think that's what, now LEAP is not just for dentists, right? It's a business foundation. You're helping kids and students get started in business.
Motivational leadership program that teaches students age 15 to 25 important skills to be successful in life.
Got it. Doesn't matter what they're doing or what they're interested in. Yeah, no, I tell people that all the time. If you're going to be in whatever industry you're in sales, you're this or that, find people that are successful in what you do and have coffee with them once a month and find, and because they're successful for a reason. And I'm sure they had struggles themselves. Find out what they struggled in and stuff like that. But let's see. So back then though, cosmetic dentistry wasn't what it is today. It was, right. It was very different.
Back when, 1983?
Yeah.
There was no cosmetic dentistry.
Right,
they hadn't even invented porcelain veneers yet.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right.
99% of what I do on a day-to-day basis wasn't even invented when I went to dental school. And that's another important point. I don't care how successful you become. If you want to stay successful, you need to keep learning. You need to keep growing. You need to keep expanding. Look, my practice is one of the busiest practices in the world. Why? Well, social media, Instagram. 5 years ago, I didn't know what Instagram was. Right. But when I saw what it was and I saw the impact it could make, I didn't just open an account. I hired a whole team. I'm the only dentist in the world with 1.1 million followers on Instagram. That didn't happen by chance or by accident.
Not at all.
It's a lot of work.
Right, of course. And your practice is visual. Unlike what I'm not going to put a contract online, but you have visual.
You need to understand Instagram. Like my content on Instagram is dental, it's educational, it's about LEAP, about talking about my nonprofit foundation for kids. Right. It's about fitness and motivation. Those are the things I touch on. Yeah, I take a trip, I post a picture here and there because I do that. But these people who want to be famous just to be famous, I have no respect for them. Like,
what's the point?
Who cares?
Right. Well, you're doing things with your success, so you've become successful for a reason, and now you're helping others do it. When did you LEAP's a foundation, right? When did you form it? When did you start it?
LEAP started 14 years ago. This last summer, 2020, would have been our 13th LEAP at UCLA. We had to do it virtually, but basically,
it's like a symposium type of thing where kids participate.
Yeah, it's a 1 week motivational leadership program. Students come from all over the world. They live in the dorm. And I bring in amazing speakers: Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, Michael Strahan, Kathy Bates, Paula Abdul, Apollo Ono, Jason Alexander. On and on and on. And these people come and basically share the secrets of their success with these students.
So the kids have to apply to the program and they have to get it accepted?
So there's one of two ways that you go to LEAP. You pay. 40% of the kids come from fairly affluent families that can afford to pay $2,500 for the week. 60% apply for scholarships. And these are A students that come from impoverished family. I go out and I raise money so these kids can come to the program.
Got it. Very good. So let's see. So how many kids attend each session?
Typically in a non-COVID year, we have about 450 to 500.
It's a big program. So you've graduated a lot of kids from this program.
Yeah. Last year, we actually had 1,000. And this year, I think we'll have 10,000 because it will be virtual and 50 kids will come live in person.
They'll come to California and you do the rest on.
Well, no, not come to California. These are probably local kids that will come and go each day, as opposed to staying over in the dorms and all that.
Yeah, because you can't do that. So you've graduated a lot of kids. So have you stayed in touch with some of them and seen their success?
Many of them.
Follow them all?
In fact, the director of LEAP is a man named Charlie Gallagher, who came to LEAP as a 16-year-old student. went to college, graduated college, then came back, and he's now the director of the program.
Nice. Nice.
At the age of 27.
I was involved for a while with an institute out of Rochester called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy. We did it about 5 or 6 years. You've heard of it?
Yes.
And you know, it was an institute. The kids would come. Well, it was like a 30-week program, so it was local. They would go to class every week, and they would build. And we had a Shark Tank and the whole thing. We built, you know, this. They built little businesses and they launched their businesses. But you know, it's funny, the things that you learn now, if you could learn them when you're 16, obviously, well, you're trying to do that with these kids and push the envelope. So let's go back to your practice. So you came back from Switzerland. You got started. You got a job working for a local practice. There was no cosmetic dentistry. So how did you start building your practice from there?
Well, no, that's not true. There was cosmetic dentistry. It just wasn't what it was. It is today. Now.
Right.
When I first started practicing, I met a man who was friends with my parents. They had gone to high school together, who had a very well-established cosmetic practice. And the idea was that I was going to practice with him and take over.
Okay.
Well, after 2 years, my presence in his practice kind of lit a fire, and he started to get excited about dentistry and didn't want to retire anymore. At the same time, it was fairly, fortunate that a guy in my building who was right next door to me,
right,
was a dentist, moved out of the building. So there was an already made dental suite right there. And so I was able to negotiate with the building and get a space there. And so I
basically left this guy in the same building and then went out on your own?
I wouldn't say I left him. I mean, he gave me his blessing. He said, look, I want to keep practicing. You've got enough patients to have your own practice. Do your own deal. And he gave me his blessing, and I did. And we've stayed friends all these years. I mean, it wasn't acrimonious at all.
Right. Yeah, well, you seem like a hard guy to get along with. So, but yeah, there's no reason why. I mean, people, they do that all the time, right? You break up, you start, I don't know, people are emotional about a lot of things. So what was I going to ask you? So I want to take you through though, so here you are, a young dentist, you went out on your own, because not a lot of people could do that. Even dentists, I know, a lot of these guys, they couldn't be 25 or 27 at this point, I guess, and go out on their own. Did you have a family at the time, or
no
bills to pay?
I mean, I was single. I hadn't married yet. And, it's funny. There was a very famous woman who was a dental practice consultant who I had paid to go to a seminar and listen to her. And she befriended me. And I called her up and asked her advice. And I said, listen, do you think I should do this? I mean, I've got nothing. I didn't even have a pot to piss in.
Right.
And she said, get a paper and pencil. And she said, you got to do this, 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 and this. I'm like, wow. I mean, just like buying a computer. And I mean, that's taking on a lot of responsibility. She says, let me tell you something. What's the worst thing that can happen? I said, well, I go bankrupt. Right. She goes, so what? You're still a dentist. They don't put you in jail for being bankrupt.
Nope.
You got nothing to lose. And she was right. My first month in practice, I was so excited. I made $18,000. And I was like, wow. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah. And that was the beginning of, a lot. And I did a lot of really innovative things that other people weren't doing. For instance, I'm in Century City, right?
Okay. Which you said is like Beverly Hills, basically?
Right. There are 50,000 people that work in a 5-block radius of my office.
Okay.
We know that 50% of the American population don't have a regular dentist. So that means there's 25,000 people in a 5-block radius of my office that need a dentist. Right. Furthermore, people who work in Century City are working at corporations that provide dental insurance. So these are people that don't even need to pay anything. They just need a convenient, good dentist. So for $350, I made these little flyers announcing my practice, giving a great introductory offer, telling them that we bill their insurance and to come to my practice. And then I hired a bunch of high school kids from Beverly Hills High School, which was right next door to me. I could pay them like $5 an hour, and they'd go out and they'd pass out these flyers. This was before 9/11. So you can go into these buildings.
Yeah.
Well, the first month I did this, I got 65 new patients.
Yeah.
Then the next month I got 120 new patients. I have never not been busy as a dentist. Like from the word go, I've been busy.
Right. But you don't, I mean, I can tell from your personality, you're relentless. So it wasn't like they handed out the flyers and that was it. You probably did marketing and things like that all the time, right?
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You've got internal marketing and external marketing. External marketing is me paying these kids. They go out and they pass out flyers. Internal marketing is now, Mitch, you come into my office, and when you leave, I say, hey, Mitch, if you had a good experience, please share this with your colleagues. We're taking new patients.
Right.
And boom.
And you did have a good experience.
The next month, when I got even more patients, it was a combination of internal and external marketing.
Right, because now you had the patients, so you could do that. But there was no social media in those days. Like you couldn't video them and put them on your website. Well, yeah, right. I didn't know the web till 92.
Correct. You couldn't, but there were a lot of things that you could do, like when you went back to your office, I would say, hey, Mitch, can you take 10 of these flyers and just pass them out to people that you know? So, I mean, we did that, and we were relentless in asking, I mean, I have 2,000 5-star Google reviews. Why? Because when you finish in my chair and you say anything nice to me, like, wow, doc, that was really great. Thank you. I'm going to tell my front desk, hey, ask Mitch for a Google review. We're building our social media. Can you do a review?
Right.
How do you get things in life? You ask for them.
Ask, right. Yeah. No, I can't tell you ever being asked that by a dentist or a doctor. I mean, they have things in their waiting room sometimes, like a little. But
let me tell you what you don't see. Who cares if I have 2,000 5-star Google reviews? Well, what that does is that pushes you to the top of every search engine.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's exactly what it does.
When you look at, what SEO does, if you Google best dentist, best cause anywhere like
come up
west of the Mississippi,
right,
I'll be the first one.
Yeah.
I have people in Chicago who Google best dentist and I pop up and they fly out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that a lot of people don't get that. They don't realize the consistency of getting people to give you reviews and getting things out there and doing it on a regular basis. And it slowly builds itself, but it doesn't, you probably still market your practice, right? It's not like you stop doing it. I mean,
it's changed. I mean,
and you have other dentists in your practice now, right?
Instagram. I mean, I get most of my new patients are from other patients referring patients from Instagram. I'm still on the doctors, so they watch me on TV.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of different sources.
Yeah. So with the doctors and the other things you do in the media, you hired a publicist. I mean, how did that happen? They found you from all of your
I did hire a publicist. So actually, the doctors found me from Extreme Makeover.
Got it. How did the makeover people find you?
First really big reality TV show was Extreme Makeover on ABC.
Yeah.
And when that went off the air, the doctors came on the air and they already knew me from that. And so I was kind of a rollover.
Right. But did that come from all of the marketing that you do in the social media and the fact that you were coming up as the #1 dentist around? And then they were like, well, let's go to this guy. And the producer reaches out to you.
Who knows? I never asked them why they hired me. I thought it was my good looks and charm. I don't know.
Well, it definitely is. But, but no, I'm serious, because there's people don't realize that one leads to another. It doesn't wake up one day, somebody's going to discover you. I mean, I guess that happens sometimes, but it really doesn't. But you were making sure that you were up there and that people knew you and everybody's coming through the door. And I asked you before, you have other dentists in the practice now?
I have 2 associates. Yes.
And do they do their own marketing and business development or whatever? Or is it really the practice that's driving all that?
No, they help me. They're different than I am.
I can see that. Most of the dentists here are different than you are.
Well, actually,
there's a reason you're successful. It's not just like
let me tell you
happenstance.
something. I grew up knowing I was a weird kid. I really did. Like, I seriously, I didn't know anybody like me. I remember when I was 5 years old, I came home from my first day of school, nursery school,
right?
Kindergarten, whatever.
Yeah, kindergarten, 5 years old.
And my mom said, how was school? I said, school is okay, but the kids in my class are so immature.
Right, and you're 5.
I'm 5.
Yeah.
Who says that?
Right. I don't think that makes you weird. I think just makes you mature. But
no,
I guess when you're 5, it's weird,
6,
right?
When I was 6, I came home and told my parents I wanted to have a conference with them. Okay.
Right. Nobody says that when they're 6.
A conference, right?
Right.
So I sit my parents down in the living room and I said, I'd like to propose something. And they're like, what is that? I said, I think I'm done with school.
You're in this first grade, right?
Yeah. They go, well, what do you mean? I said, well, I know how to read now. So I'll just read everything I need to know. And they're like, nah, we think you're still going to school. And I was such an agreeable kid. I was like, okay. Like, I didn't argue. And I was just like, I thought I had this brilliant idea. Like, hey, I'll just stay home and learn.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have done that. They could have homeschooled you, but then your mom would have had to teach
There
you.
wasn't even such a thing as homeschooling.
Oh, they didn't even have that in those days?
It wasn't invented.
Well, but it's your, I don't know if personality is the right word. I know people that there's something in them that just, they don't think of doing it any other way. Like you would not, like there was no way you were not getting that job in Switzerland because the way that you are, like if that didn't get to the guy, you'd find another way to get to the guy. You flew out there to have lunch with him. I mean, come on.
There was a point early on in my career when I said, I will never fail again.
Yeah.
And
it's not going to happen. Right.
I never fail. Why? If I do something and it doesn't come out the way I want it to, it's not failure, it's practice.
Right. And you just figured one way not to do it.
And again and again until it comes out the way you want.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you keep doing it and you're not getting the right results, that's where getting a mentor or going on the internet is going to pay off.
Right.
I mean, we're all taught practice makes perfect. No, practice makes permanent. You keep doing it the wrong way, you'll never get perfect.
Right.
When you realize that you're not doing it the right way, change.
Yeah.
Don't keep doing it wrong.
Right. Would they say that's the definition of stupidity or frustration? Like doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But there are some people that, like you said, they're just driven. And to other people, that seems exhausting. But it probably wasn't exhausting to you, right?
No,
I never thought of it
honestly,
that way.
That's just how I was wired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. And it wouldn't have mattered what career you had. It really wouldn't have. If you were interested in being a lion tamer at the zoo, you probably would have been a lion tamer for the famous people.
Listen,
that had lions.
I would have found the 5 best lion tamers in the world,
right?
Gone in, shadowed them, and then done the same thing.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Well, that's why LEAP works, right? Because it's not like you have to be interested in dentistry to go to LEAP. I mean, I think that's one of the things. That's why I wanted to talk to you from what Todd had said, is because all of these principles are transferable. There's no industries that make it, you could be successful in medicine, you could be successful in dentistry, you could be successful in the automotive business if you do it strategically. Now, have you ever written a business plan for your practice, or never really needed to?
Nah.
A lot of people need to, though.
I went to a seminar early on in my career, and the woman who is very famous gets up on the stage and says, here's how you become successful. You need to set a goal. Let's say a young dentist like you, $3,000 a day. Okay. Your goal is going to be $3,000 a day, and you do everything you can to hit that goal. I walked out. You know why? I was already doing $10,000 a day. You
Yeah,
idiot. Like
3,000. You're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. I'm like, let me teach you. Let me teach you how to do this.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but you did have a plan. What was maybe written down in a book?
No, my plan was do the most you can do until you drop dead. That was my plan.
Well, no, but there's a bit of a marketing, maybe it's not a plan. There was a marketing strategy, right? There was a promotional strategy.
I swear to you, I never wrote down a plan.
You just did it. See, a lot of people can't do that. I flew by the
seat of my pants, and I did what I felt was great. And if it wasn't great, I changed it, and then I did something else. But it wasn't like I'm like, okay, this is my business plan.
Of course.
And then I'm going to do this.
Right.
I'll tell you what I teach kids at LEAP.
Yeah, that was my next question.
When you send a kid to LEAP,
right.
If I can only get them to walk away with two things, listen to this, because this is really good.
And these are high schoolers, right?
Two things, high school and college students. Number one, don't wait for opportunities in life, make them.
Right.
If I meet another millennial who tells me they're waiting for the universe doesn't care about you.
Right. That's for
you need to care about you.
Yeah.
And number two, when you do get an opportunity, don't take it. Master it.
Good advice.
When ABC put me on Extreme Makeover, I stunk. Honestly.
Really?
I mean, dentistry, great. TV, not so good.
Not so good, yeah.
But the second I realized that I was going to get fired because I was so bad, instead of waiting for that to happen, I was proactive. I took acting classes, hosting classes, teleprompting. I hired the woman who trained the kids on American Idol and taught them how to do what we're doing right now, because this was not in my wheelhouse.
No.
I was a swimmer. I grew up swimming. Swimming teaches you to be completely isolated. You can't socialize when you're swimming. Who do you talk to? You know?
So you weren't like this? You weren't like outgoing and
no, I just swam. That's all I did. I swam.
Right. But even as a dentist, you felt you were kind of introverted, and then this whole thing happened with the TV and you're like, oh my God, I got it.
You can't really have a conversation.
I know, you had your hands in someone's mouth. Right. I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was a whole new thing for me. Like, you know, talking and but you know what? I learned it.
Yeah. Right. Well, you're not afraid to improve everything that you're doing. As a matter of fact, you are driven to improve everything you're doing. It drives you. A lot of people don't. That's why they need, like, not a bit, you know, business plan is the wrong word, but that's why they need written goals, and that's why they need written strategy, because they forget, or they get distracted, or they're like, that doesn't work. You ever talk to somebody, they go, oh yeah, I posted some things on Instagram. It didn't really do anything for my business. You did it once, you did it 4 times. That's it. You were talking about the kids, and they come there and oh yeah, the 2 principles that you teach them.
We just did that.
Right.
Okay. Now ask me another question. Just start, and then I'll move us.
Okay, fine. So we were talking about the LEAP Foundation, and what businesses, like, anything stand out to you? Some kids that have done things or went on to be successful in certain industries?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love connecting students that come to LEAP with great mentors. In fact, we have something called a mentor workshop. Okay. So LEAP is a 1-week program. It culminates in this mentor workshop on Friday, where I bring in, and I want you to participate, where I bring in different professionals, and the students get an opportunity to sit and pick their brains. And, you know, I mean, I've actually been hired a bunch of my LEAP students to do things for me. This last year, we had to do the program virtually. So I hired one of our students that was really interested in audio visual stuff to do all the intro videos for Jason Alexander. And I had Keith Ferrazzi, who wrote the book Never Eat Alone and whatnot. Right. In fact, as we're talking, my video wall just got fixed. It was on the fritz.
Nice.
So I'm going to put this in the background, and you can see.
Yeah, that's a big anemone.
My little clownfish.
A big clownfish.
Yeah, it's gigantic size. People have actually come into my office and said, "Is that a real aquarium?" I'm like, okay.
That's pretty funny. Well, people don't pay too much attention, or maybe they're nervous. Who knows? All right. Well, I do appreciate the time, you're spending with me. I know you're busy and all the things going on. What anything coming up that we should know about?
Actually, I have two really cool things coming up.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
I have two new products I'm launching.
Okay. That you've designed. These are your products?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew Discus Dental. I invented Zoom, right?
Yeah, not the video conferencing system.
Okay,
the whitening system.
Don't make me feel bad about myself. Right, the whitening system. I grew, so we grew that company from 0 to $1.3 billion in sales before we sold it. And when we sold it, I had a non-compete. I could not do whitening for a certain amount of years. Well, that's expired.
Okay.
And we have a new whitening product that we will be launching probably in the next 3 months. And it's really cool. And we're doing it with a large infomercial company. It's called Great Healthworks. And they spend about $30 million a month on infomercials. They're the largest infomercial company in the world right now.
So you'll have a show using it on a Saturday morning or whatever.
Right.
Got it.
Right. And so the name of that new whitening product is called Poof.
Poof.
And I don't want to explain why, because once you watch the infomercial, you'll get it, but it's pretty awesome. I mean, your stains really disappear.
Better than other whitening systems.
And the second product that I'm launching, I'm super excited about. So when I owned my company, Discus Dental, we had these gumballs that were for fresh breath. They were called halospheres, and they were these little round gumballs. I hate coffee.
Really? I love coffee.
I don't like the flavor.
I like
don't
Nespresso.
like the aftertaste. I don't like that it turns your teeth dark.
Yeah.
But I love caffeine, like Red Bull and stuff.
Oh my God. I could see that. You're very high energy.
Yeah. So what I used to do, there's a thing called No-Dose. It's 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would do is take a No-Dose, take a gumball and chew it up. And I got a great buzz, right?
And you have good breath.
I was thinking there should be caffeinated chewing gum.
There isn't?
There is now.
Oh. Because there's caffeine in everything else, right? I mean, yeah. Sugar-free, right? Sugar-free?
Buzz balls.
Oh, they're gumballs.
Yeah, buzz balls.
Very nice. Nobody had that name?
Delicious.
I'm surprised nobody had that name or anything.
Well, here's the crazy thing. There's an alcoholic beverage called Buzz Balls.
Yeah, but that you could, different category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got the trademark.
So they're basically sugar-free gumballs that have caffeine.
With 164 milligrams of caffeine.
Which is equivalent to what?
A cup of coffee.
Okay. And good breath.
Yeah.
So as opposed to having coffee breath and brown teeth. Yeah, that's good.
It's kind of the Red Bull of chewing gum.
There you go. Well, Red Bull, though, has a lot more caffeine, right, than a cup of coffee, doesn't it?
Well, then have 2 gumballs.
There you go. Right. Because they're little, right? So it's just one gumball. So where are people going to be able to get this? I mean, Poof, obviously you order it through the show and on the website, right? But where do they get Buzz Balls?
I'm trying to see. I launched a product with a company called FabFitFun. Do you know them? I may launch with them again.
Is that Lisa Lieberman Wang? No, she's Fine to Fab or something. Okay.
No, these are two Persian brothers that have a company that puts out a box every quarter that's shipped to 1.2 million women.
Like a Birchbox type of thing. Subscription. Sorry? Like Birchbox or whatever. It's subscription. There's stuff in the box. You get all kinds of. Okay.
I think you pay $49 for the box and they guarantee a $250 value. Those numbers could be wrong, but something like that. And it's a great way to enter the market and go out to a large audience.
Right, and then the box tells you how to order more, right, of whatever's in the box.
Correct.
So there's a campaign as to how long it goes in the box. You pay to be in the box for a period of time or something.
No, you don't pay to be in the box.
No?
You basically sell the product to FabFitFun and they include it in the box.
Okay, yeah, same thing. I got it. But how long will it be in the box? Not indefinitely.
No,
right?
it's one box. One box.
One
goes
box,
out every
1 month
quarter.
to all the people. Got it.
One every quarter, you get a new box with new stuff.
So you'll just be in 1 quarter.
I'll be in 1 quarter. So what happens is they give you a menu of
Right.
20 items that will be in the box.
Okay.
And of the 20, you get to pick 15.
Oh, okay. So people that are ordering, they can decide, oh, I don't need caffeine and good breath, so I'm not going to get that one.
But they do.
Yeah, of course they do. So, but is there any way for like me to get them at some point if I'm not a subscriber to the box?
Well, you're not going to buy the box because it's like women's.
Yeah, I'm not a target customer, right?
Women's clothing and like, I mean, well, unless you decide to,
hey, each his own, right?
Transition.
Exactly. To each his own.
Or
Yeah.
you could buy it for, are you married or anything?
I'm married, 3 kids. Yeah, I told you my daughter wanted to go to UCLA.
Well, it doesn't mean you're married.
That's true. Yes, I am married.
Right.
22 years.
Well, your
years.
wife can get the box.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then you could steal the buzz balls.
Yeah, she won't eat them anyway. It's caffeine.
Right.
She won't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, good. Okay, so anything else coming up? We're going to see on TV, on the doctors, Dr. Oz. I mean, where are you showing up?
I'm still on the doctors.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing a new TV show called The Megan Pormer Show, Pormer. It launches this Friday night on Fox.
Okay.
It's late, very late, like 1 or 2 a.m. Hopefully, as the show picks up an audience, they'll give it a better time slot. But
I've never heard of Megan
It's a talk
Pormer.
show, and I'll be on there.
Okay. And the doctors, what does CBS? Is that right?
CBS and I shoot episodes periodically.
Okay. And people can find you obviously on Instagram and I guess Facebook.
Yeah.
I've seen your website.
I'm the only person with like 1 million followers that actually answers all my DMs.
You
so
do.
If you go on Instagram, I'll answer.
Very
and
good.
If you have a kid 15 to 25, sign them up for LEAP.
Absolutely. We'll put leapfoundation.com in
program.
We'll put leapfoundation.com in the show notes. And now you can do it from all kinds of places. Now, if you are remote, is the fee different now because it's such a large program? You don't have to pay $2,500. It's a lower entry fee, right?
$349.
Fantastic.
For the week. And after the week's done, we give you content throughout the year. So it's pretty awesome.
All included. So you're on emails and materials and stuff like that. Very good. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on. And let's definitely stay in touch. This stuff, I mean, I'm not, hold on a second. Let me just get this over here. I'll fade it.